Okay, something a little bit more close to home. What are some of the challenges, some of the difficulties the South Asian community faces when challenging issues like domestic abuse? And of course, there are challenges across all communities. I'm asking for your insights around some of the more specific issues that apply to the South Asian community.
Well, I have already mentioned that I have been in the legal field since 1998. I have been practicing in Bradford since 2004. When I initially started in working in Bradford, all my caseload comprised of domestic matters, domestic abuse matters, and private law children matters. And my clientele comprised largely of women, and there was a significant split. 80%, I would say, were women from the South Asian community. And these women would come in to see me, usually 8 times out of 10, with a support worker from an organisation, Women's Aid or some women's support organisation. It wasn't usual for a woman from the South Asian community to make the appointment herself. It was usually in response to an incident where the police had become involved. The police had then referred the matter to a women's support organisation, and the female, the client then concerned, then comes into the office. From that, I got a clear impression that women were reluctant to take the first step. And then when speaking to them, when hearing their stories, when hearing their backgrounds, it would be that they had been subject, their stories were they had been subject to domestic abuse for several years. And it was it was a neighbour that had called the police had come in, police had treated it like a domestic, police had then referred the female to a domestic abuse group. The domestic abuse group had then made the appointment, brought the client in. We then speak to when I say we, myself, colleagues, we would speak to the client, tell the client their options. And it was very disheartening at times because as a lawyer, as a woman, as a person, it was apparent that this woman, this client, needed help. And she was reluctant to receive that help, or reluctant to take the action that was being offered because of pressures, family pressure, societal pressure.
Pressure that's not as apparent or not as present in other communities, would you say, correctly?
Yes. Well, yes, I would agree with that. So if it was a female from the English community,
Yes.
she would not be so much concerned about the net effect of taking out an injunction against her violent partner.
Elaborate, please. What do you mean net effect?
If I take out an injunction, if I do what you were advising me, which is to take out an injunction, my parents are going to be very upset with the steps I take. My marriage will then break down. What will I then do? It's perfectly possible for this situation to be dealt with in another way. My family are going to talk to his family, and I've never told my family about what's been happening, and then hopefully we can address it in that way. So there was quite often a drive to resolve things through family mediation. And in my experience, matters of domestic abuse are not resolvable through family mediation.